Now that you've made the decision to divorce, how much should you expect to pay in child support? Because you've got a couple of children with this person, and obviously you're responsible for caring for them in the future, even though you and your spouse are separated. And this is a rather complex question I'd like to help you answer. It's important to realize that when you get a divorce, you're not just dividing your household into two separate households. You're taking your income and your lifestyle and you're splitting them in two. That means at the end of the day, you're going to have less available money to spend on the things that you normally spend. And when you add child support into this calculation, it becomes a real financial drain on your resources. Maine is a shared income state. What that means is the child support is going to be calculated based on your total income between you and your spouse. And they're going to lump that all together. They're going to look at debts. They're going to look at obligations. They're going to look at your income. And they're going to determine that large number. They're going to determine the final child support number. That's going to be based on your adjusted gross income. And based on that number, they're going to allocate or make someone responsible for payment of at least a portion of that. Now, it's important to understand that normally, for example, if you have custody, or as we say in Maine, residency of the child lives with you primarily, you will be the one that receives the child support. That's normally how it goes. And conversely, if you're on the other side, you're the parent who's going to be paying the child support because the children primarily reside with your former spouse. So what does all this mean? Well, let me give you an example, and this is very simplified. Let's say you make $100,000 a year, and let's say your spouse makes $50,000 a year. And that's what the court has determined is the adjusted gross income between the two of you. That equals $150,000. Now they take that number, they look at the number of children you have, and it's a worksheet, and they come up with this matrix, and they come up with a final number. Let's just say that number is $500 per week. Because you earn 66.66% of the former household income, and you're not the parent who has residence of the child, you will be paying $333 approximately per week to your spouse to help care for your children. That's close to $18,000 under this example. Child support guidelines are just that. They're guidelines, and they're actually very complex. The more assets you have, the more businesses you own, the more revenue streams you have coming in, the more investment accounts, the more complex this gets. Don't think for a moment that you should be handling this yourself. Once there's a court order in place for child support, you're stuck with it. And if you did a bad job and agreed on a calculation that's really wrong, you will be paying that child support until that child turns 19 or graduates school. So don't go it alone. Pick up the phone, give us a call, and we will help navigate you through this complex process so at the end of the day, you can be treated fairly by the system.